The special meeting is called back to order. Will the secretary please know that all board members are present with the exception of Ms. Para and Ms. Hernandez. The first item on the agenda is 3B, motion to adjourn executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn the executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second? A motion has been made by Member Oliver and seconded by Member Austin. On that motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Motion carries. Next item is item 3C, motion to instruct the designated representatives of the public body regarding matters discussed in executive session as necessary. Is there a motion to affirm instructions given to the representatives of the public body in executive session? I think we could have skipped that part, actually. Is there a second? Any discussion? On that motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 3D, motion to adjourn the special meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn the special meeting? Is there a second? A motion has been made by Member Austin, seconded by, Member Napa. On that motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned. The regular board meeting is called to order. Will the secretary please note that all board members are present? Do we have Member Parra online? All members are present with the exception of Member Parra and Member Hernandez. Please note that today's meeting is being live streamed. Also, please note that we have Spanish interpreting services available in the back of the room. Ms. Rivas, will you interpret for me, please?
Buenas tardes. Si necesita un intérprete en español, favor de mirar a Joel, que se encuentra al lado del cuarto. Gracias.
The first item on the agenda is 1C, Pledge of Allegiance and Moment of Silence. We will stand as Board Member Marquez leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We will remain standing while a moment of silence is observed in memory of PXU students and staff who are no longer with us. The next item on the agenda is 1D, Land Acknowledgement Statement. Please remain seated as Board Member Oliver reads the PXU Land Acknowledgement Statement.
We are on O'Donnell land. The Phoenix Union High School District is responsible for and committed to creating educational environments that prioritize the achievements of Native American students. We are committed to making their cultural identity visible by acknowledging that our school district resides upon ancestral lands of the original caretakers, Hohokam, ancestors of the Akamerl Atam, Onk Akamel Atam, Dono Atam, and the Akchin. These sovereign nations are presently known as the Gila River Indian Community, Salt River, Pima Maricopa Indian Community, Dono Atam Nation, and Akchin Indian Community. This formal acknowledgement is dedicated to the 22 sovereign nations of Arizona. Phoenix Union understands the importance of providing reparations through truth-telling. We recognize the historical injustices not traditionally taught in the classroom and are committed to practices prioritizing Native American knowledge, history, representation, and healing. We commit with an open mind to always respect the land, its histories, and its ancestors.
Thank you. The Academies of South Mountain Visual Arts Magnet Program offers a wide variety of art-making courses as part of the Media Arts Design and Academy. The art program offers jewelry and fiber arts, ceramics, traditional photography, digital arts, and animation, drawing, painting, and printing, printmaking, and art foundations. Through these course offerings, students are provided with the opportunity to practice and hone their art-making skills. Teachers focus on embedding 21st century life skills into their day-to-day class participation. Students get firsthand experience by learning directly from the professional artists, in which students see what a career in the arts will look like. The goal of the Academies of South Mountain's Visual Arts Magnet Program is to bring arts into every corner of the campus and to have a strong presence in the community. They are grateful to have the continued support of the community, campus, and district personnel for helping and providing opportunities for students. Please enjoy the amazing art created by the Academies of South Mountain Art Program. The next item is 2A, reports from employee organizations. Mr. Esteban, CTA President.
All right. Good evening. In our interactions and understanding that we are all hardworking educators for the district and for our students. We will lead our members with the best intentions this year on our sites. We want to work towards honest and innovative interactions. In leading with positivity, we hope to be able to have honest conversations with all of our work and build trust that can generate innovative ways to solve concerns that are brought up on our campus. And last, we want to create relationships and systems that benefit each other. At the district and the site level, we want to work together to build systems that support everyone in the district. We want to foster relationships that are grounded in the best work for our students and staff, so everyone feels comfortable and enjoys a PXU experience every single day. Next slide. But with those things being said, there are concerns that we have to begin the school year. With our goal to work through positive vibe, the staff is still struggling as of today with several concerns. Staff is concerned about safety of not only our students, but ourselves as we continue to look at different safety models that come from this body. In the June meeting, there were some items in compromise made, which made the staff feel better, but there was still work that was done last year that the safety committee feels was not heard by this board. There's concerns with our bell schedule. The staff and students how will they manage these long periods of time in a single class? And how will we be productive in an educational environment when time is so precarious? And there's concerns just about staff, or should I say the lack thereof. As of this morning, we had 83 certified positions listed as unfilled on our website. These missing educators mean that those educators that we have here are going to have to do extra work to cover and support our students as need be. This is going to range from taking on extra courses, to being over on caseloads, to collapsing specialty classes to ensure that everyone has the classes they need to graduate. None of these things are ideal, but we know that the reality is this is how we start the year. Next slide, please. Click. But what we have viewed is this. As a district, we have seen that if we acknowledge concerns and we work in a collaborative process, we can come up with viable solutions as a district. What we have seen, not just this year, but in years past, is that we cannot create a perfect environment. We make things better, but when the collective we acknowledges the concerns brought forth by the staff, administration, students, and community, and we work together in an honest and collaborative process, we have historically been able to find viable solutions to our concerns. Not perfect solutions in most cases, but solutions that keep us moving forward and keep everyone at the table looking to the next innovation to make things better. Next slide. And so that brings me to the biggest concern that I've heard from my members is the idea of governance versus management. I bring all these things forward because we are struggling with this process as the lines seem to be blurred between governance and management in the district. As board members, you were all duly elected to serve the community of your ward. They respected and aligned with your vision of what PXU can be. I don't think any of my staff of the district would argue that ultimately we work for our community. But creating a vision is one thing. How we accomplish it is a completely different process. The staff in the district on the site are the individuals tasked with doing that part. The board I see as the why and the what of PXU. The district and the staff are the who and the how. And it's going to happen together. When we work together, we're looking at the when and the where. In June, there was a discussion about the safety plan that would have taken most of the power away from the management or the staff of the district and placed it in the hands of the governing board, leaving district leaders and employees with little more than tools to execute the task. That is not how any of us at PXU wish to work. We want the roles that we applied for and are working for to be defined and the option to do that. Next slide. As unions, and when I speak of unions, I'm going to talk about CTA, CEA, and ADA. And the district work for the best interests of our students, educators, and community. That's why we came to PXU, and that's why we continue to stay here. All of us are experts in our respective fields and want to be treated as such. And we expect that our voices are heard and valued as much as any other voice in this room. And it feels at times over the last year that some of those things have been lost and our voices have not been respected as equal partners in the educational system. Next slide. But I don't want to end with being, things are negative, negative, negative. I worked at North High School from 2003 until just this May. And from 2003 till 2021, I ran a diversity camp every year called NFL, or North's Family of Leaders. And as a facilitator of that camp, we had a statement we always told to the kids, which was trust the process. When we told that to the kids, it meant trust the process means that we brought you here with the best intentions, and we have your interests in mind, and please trust us to make the right choices. I asked the board as we move forward in the 23-24 school year to please trust the process with the staff of the district. As a union leader, I trust the staff here. I trust that the district employees, we can work together to come up with viable innovations. I trust your vision, but I trust you to allow us to execute that vision as we go through. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I look forward for a wonderful school year. Have a good one.
Ms. Jimenez, CEA President.
All right, thank you, and thank you, CTA, for that refreshing report. I don't have slides tonight, but I did want to give some updates as far as what CEA has been doing over the summer. So we've been really busy, but again, good evening, everybody, Governing Board, President Ross, and Superintendent Andrade. Thank you for having us. So real quick, our PD opportunities over the summer were the Classified Summer Academy. So that was a huge success. That took place in June, and it was, again, another earning and learning opportunity for our staff. We had approximately, I want to say, and I have a PD specialist in the room somewhere who can correct me, but approximately 350 plus participants, so education support professionals that participated in this CSA. Some of those topics included the teaching and learning framework, customer service, cultural competence, and relationship building. Again, like I said, it was a big success and a large undertaking, and so I'd like to give a special thank you to our teaching and learning department and our professional learning team that supported these efforts. And so we're looking forward to many more opportunities this coming school year in the form of our Super PD Saturdays and our classified fall academy sessions. Also in June, our CEA team welcomed new and returning officers and representatives, executive board members. We reviewed new policy and language updates, went over the new interview process training, and worked to establish relationships within our own association. So it was a team building opportunity and networking opportunity for outside of the workdays with the intent to set our CEA leaders up for a successful school year. And since then, we've been doing a couple site visits, some FAQ sessions with our members, and so we're just continuing to share out information and be a resource to all employees. And then just last week, PXU held our second annual CLI, or Classified Induction Experience event, and over 100 new employees from July 2022 through 2023 were welcomed to PXU at this event. It was held at Desert Willow, and this gave new employees the chance to meet other employees within their career families, get to know and understand the vision of PXU, and engage with other colleagues across the district. Unfortunately, some of our new employees were not granted the same opportunity to attend this event. So moving forward, CEA would like to see the governing board, district leadership, and administrators continue to support and encourage employees to attend this event, and to also support the continuation of holding CLI every year. Some of the comments that were made to me personally about just how valuable this event was for our employees was, and I'll read here, quote, "Oh my gosh, this is so nice. We've never had something as nice as this. I feel so special." And that was just in regards to the food that was offered and just the intent and the details behind the planning of this event. Something else, they should do this every year. I didn't know our district does so much. And so it was a very valuable experience for not only new employees, but I think even just some of our returning employees too, so that were there to help assist with that event. And then lastly, I think this one kind of hit my heart the most. It was so nice to meet other employees that know my struggle. And so there aren't many opportunities where our education support professionals can come together and discuss issues or similarities or anything that's happening within their career families, because we have 9 career families and over 1,500 employees. And so, thank you again for all that were involved in the implementation and creation of that. It was a huge success, and it really is something that we need to have every year. And lastly, again, thank you all for allowing us to just be here. I wanted to keep it real short today. I know we've got some things on the agenda we want to move forward with, but it's really important that we have this space with you all here to be able to hear our concerns. And so just as CTA brought their concerns, you can anticipate CEA bringing up concerns and suggestions. But we look forward to collaborating and to continuing to work towards resolutions. So thank you.
Ms. Jimenez?
Yes.
2 questions.
Yes,
What was the event called? And you said
It was
more support from the board. What does that look like?
So the Classified Induction Event Experience, or Experience Event, CLIE, is an event intended for new employees, new educational support professionals, or new classified employees to come, sit, meet district personnel, other, employees, colleagues throughout the district, other new employees, and to really kind of level set that vision of what PXU is all about. And we go over, language updates, any sort of resources they may need. We try to front load all of that information at the very beginning so that we can help support them throughout the rest of the year.
And then what is, you're requesting more?
Just
what does
more
that look like?
encouragement for our new employees. So there were some new employees that were not granted the same opportunity to attend this event, even though it was communicated to all of our administrators and district-wide, and to those new employees as well. But I think the understanding needs to be that this is an event that's very important because it's so informational. And it's so critical to how we retain our employees, and that's what we're just asking for. So whether that means we find coverage for certain positions to enable that employee to go attend that event, or maybe just putting it out there. Just a bit more communication, a bit more encouragement, but overall it was a very successful event.
Thank you. Ms. Andrade, will you look into that, please? Thank you. Yes, one more for you.
Sure.
For the CLI event, is that, I know the life and experience of hourly workers.
Correct.
If staff go to the CLI event, is that considered a paid event and paid hours or not?
Correct. They were paid for this opportunity to attend, and that is part of that that's part of the reason why we're trying to limit those barriers. So we also worked with our transportation department to provide site pickups for those employees, if they so chose to do so, to come out to Desert Willow. So we really tried to limit those barriers. And again, I want to give a huge shout out to our professional learning team, because they were really instrumental in creating that and executing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Doherty, ADA President.
Good evening, President Ross, members of the board, Superintendent Andrade, executive team, and members of the community. In the world of education, we dedicate our efforts in service to others. We are architects of knowledge, nurturers of dreams, and champions of progress. Next week, we kick off another school year, and let us all remember the impact that we have on shaping the future of our learners, our educators, our education support professionals, our schools, and our communities. I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of two other pillars of Phoenix Union, the Classified Teachers Association with President Flemons, and the Classified Employees Association with President Jimenez. Together, we form a dedicated trio and passionate one. We are united by a shared vision of welcoming, loving, and inspiring our learners so that they can go places and do things that matter as we work to prepare them for success in college, career, and life. Our success is intrinsically tied to our core values, particularly collaboration, compassion, and commitment. As we enter this school year, let us embrace the diversity of ideas and perspectives that each group brings to the table, and recognize our strengths that lies in the collective efforts of each group. With open hearts and minds, let us foster an environment of inclusivity and mutual respect where each voice is heard and each perspective is valued. By leveraging our strengths and collaborating effectively, we can face any challenge that comes our way and seize every opportunity to elevate PXU to new heights. I am confident that our collective determination will ensure our future of unparalleled growth and achievement. Together, we will continue to make a lasting impact on the lives of those that we serve. Thank you. We look forward to an amazing school year. Let us move forward together, united by a shared purpose and a shared passion for education and the betterment of Phoenix Union. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 3A, calls to the public. Presentations tonight are limited to a maximum of 1 minute. We have a lot of speakers tonight, and we want to get out here and be respectful of everyone's time. According to ARS 38-431.01H, at the conclusion of the calls to the public, members of the public body may respond to criticism made by those who address the public body, may ask the staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, members may not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and agenda and legal action. I would like to caution members of the audience about commenting on a particular individual and to thank you for not referring to any person by name. Tonight, we have the option for members of the public to participate in person or virtually. We will start with our speakers who registered online. In order to avoid any concerns with interpretation services, please be aware of the following. We have a Spanish interpreter available to join at the podium while the speaker addresses the governing board. Only the PXU assigned interpreter will provide interpreting services. If you have a script on paper or on a device, we ask that you make it available to the interpreter. In order to provide accurate interpreting, we ask that you speak for approximately 2 to 3 sentences at a time and pause for interpreting. You will be given double the amount of time to address the governing board as a result, so that's 2 minutes. As a result, we ask that you end your comments when your official time allotted has ended. Ms. Rivas, will you please interpret that for me?
Para evitar dificultades con los servicios de intérprete, tenga en cuenta lo siguiente. Tenemos un intérprete de español disponible para acompañarlo mientras se dirige a la mesa directiva. Solo el intérprete asignado por el distrito proveerá servicios de interpretación. Si tiene su mensaje en papel o electrónicamente, le pedimos que lo ponga a disposición del intérprete. Para brindar una interpretación precisa, le pedimos que hable aproximadamente de 2 a 3 oraciones a la vez y haga una pausa para el intérprete. Como resultado, se le dará el doble de tiempo para dirigirse a la mesa directiva. Tendrá 1 minuto para hablar en español y 1 minuto para que su intérprete pueda hablar en inglés. Como de costumbre, le pedimos que finalice sus comentarios cuando termine su tiempo asignado. Gracias por su cooperación.
Thank you. We have 2 requests to speak virtually. Please state your name, indicate the agenda item or topic you wish to speak about, and limit your presentation to 1 minute. Our first caller is Carla Krivakis. Do we have her? She's online. Carla, can you hear us? Carla, you have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes. You have 1
Great,
minute,
thank you.
please.
Thank you, President Ross, members of the board and district administration. My name is Carla Phillips Kravickas, and I am the mother of a child with a disability. I recently toured the school that we are zoned for, and as a result chose not to enroll my daughter. According to the Arizona School Report Cards, only 1% of the students with disabilities in the Phoenix Union High School District are proficient in ELA or math. Just 1%. And that includes any disability, anything from ADA, speech language impairment, to autism or an intellectual disability. Only 1%. I'm here tonight to ask the board to prioritize these students, and especially as you are looking for a new superintendent, please inquire how they would improve outcomes for students with disabilities. Thank you for your time, and please let me know how I can be of service.
Thank you, Ms. Andrade. Will you please look into that? Thank you. Our next speaker is Renee Dominguez. Renee, do we have you? Do we have Renee? Renee, can you hear us? You have the floor, and you have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Renee Dominguez, and I'm a community member for Phoenix Union High School District. I'm speaking about the incident about, unfortunately, the young man that lost his life at a camp. I really think that the district needs to look at their policies and procedures regarding field trips, make sure permission slips are signed. I don't know the details behind the unfortunate death of this student, but I do think that it really needs to be investigated fully. And I'm also speaking on behalf of retaining the principal, Mr. Grant, at that school. Mr. Grant was my student's Dina student when they attended Cesar Chavez, and he was always gave the most utmost professionalism and is an asset to that school. And that's what we need, professionalism and a good, strong principal. So I hope that you guys reconsider and retain him as a principal. Thank you.
Okay, tonight we have blue cards. I will call your name. When your name is called, please indicate the agenda item or topic you wish to speak about and limit your presentation to 1 minute. George Polland, followed by Crystal Sosa. George Polland? Yeah. Yes, please.
Good evening. I want to speak about Cesar Chavez and the coaches that have been put on administrative leave. I want to express my condolences to the family, first and foremost. In their grieving time, we'll continue to pray for them, as well as the coaches. You know, they're great men. They're mentors to these young kids that come from broken homes and looking for that father figure. So they're much more than just a coach or just a teacher at the unit. They're pillars in the community, and they've been there for years through everything. So I ask that you guys take that into consideration on putting them on leave and where they come back to the school or they're able to come back and work for the school. It's people like that, coaches like that step out of the box and do what they need for the community and put their sides and their families to the side to make sure that the kids are taken care of. And I want to speak highly of them, and I hope you guys keep that in consideration for them and welcome them back to the school because they are great gentlemen. Thank you.
Crystal Sosa, followed by Nikki Black. Crystal Sosa?
Will the secretary please note that Board Member Hernandez and Parra have joined us online?
Good evening, Governing Board and President Nikita Ross. My name is Crystal Sosa, and I am a very, very proud parent of Cesar Chavez High School. I've had 3 girls graduate from Cesar Chavez, and I currently have a senior there. As everybody knows, we had a very tragic incident. Chris Hampton was my son's teammate and his friend, and this whole last month has just been a nightmare for our family and our community. What really hit me in the stomach the most was our principal, Mr. Grant. He's a pillar in our community. He's a pillar at the school. My son doesn't trust very easily, and he adores Mr. Grant. And I'm really worried about starting school on the first day without him on our campus. We have been blessed with some great interns, but it's not Mr. Grant, and I really would like him back. I started a petition. We've had over 600 signatures to get him back on campus. So I really do hope that you guys can reinstate him, and he'll be back sooner than later. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Nikki Black, followed by Debbie Cross. Nikki Black?
Good evening, Board. I'm here to speak about reinstating Principal Chavez. I'm hoping my time here is being spent in vain. I'm hoping that the Board already understands that Chavez community has already suffered enough due to the loss of a young athlete. I'm hoping that the Board already realizes and is that taking a proven leader out of his position is no way to fix the current situation. I'm hoping that these investigations are over and this Board is already prepared to take the necessary steps to allow Mr. Grant to return to his position as principal at Cesar Chavez High School. I've heard several stories from parents, and I have a personal story of my own. My daughter does not play football. Neither do the majority of teenagers that attend Cesar Chavez High School. They should not have to suffer due to events that had nothing to do with them. I'm hoping that you will listen to the community today and bring stability back to Cesar Chavez High School by reinstating Principal Grant as soon as possible. Thank you.
Debbie Cross, followed by William Highsmith. Debbie Cross?
Madam President, Board, and staff, administration. I'm here as a retired teacher of 22 years at Metro Tech High School, and I took between 1 and 35 students on over 50 trips in my career. 2 things we have to agree on. 1, accidents happen. Unfortunately, this was a large one, and I'm very, very unhappy about it. But we cannot punish the rest of the students in this district not to be able to go and continue on the trips. They are invaluable to these students. I speak as a former teacher who would sometimes take a month to get the paperwork done for a trip between what district required of and what we had to do to get the trip put together, much less get the students ready to go on the trips. I do not want to see a knee-jerk reaction to this whole thing, and I want you to take into consideration that there are still more students that have more experiences to go through and learn.
Thank you, Ms. Cross. William Highsmith, followed by Barry Bertole. William Highsmith?
Good evening, board members. My name is William Highsmith, 17-year teacher, and speaking tonight as an individual. A study by the American Psychological Association titled "The Impact of Routine on Child Development" shows that consistent routine improves cognitive and emotional regulation. A study conducted by the National Institute of Mental Health titled "The Impact of Daily Scheduling on Stress and Anxiety Levels in Adolescent Students" discovered that adolescents who experience varying daily schedules are more prone to heightened stress and anxiety. The current Bell schedule has a negative impact on education and well-being of our students. An argument will be made that the Bell schedule for the 23-24 school year cannot be corrected on such a short notice. To accept the short notice argument is to believe that this district does not have the brain power nor the willpower to make sudden changes when necessary for the well-being and success of our students. An argument will be made that a change at this time would create stress for all staff and administration when sudden change for our students is what we excel at.
Thank you, Mr. Highsmith. Barry Bertole, followed by Lisa Dormal.
Good evening. I'm Barry Bertoletz, a 15-plus year National Board Certified Teacher of the district, and I'm here to talk about the Bell schedule and its impact on our students. What we learned this week during our breakout sessions is many of our students come from home life that could be considered chaotic. Now, that chaos is different flavors, but what it does is it can affect the student psychologically and cause stress and discomfort. Now, when kids get to school, they should be able to be in a place where they can have no chaos and be able to be themselves and be away from that discomfort that they experience at home. Unfortunately, our Bell schedule is not providing that. Did you know that in the current Bell schedule, there are not 2 days in a row that have the same exact expectations as far as the schedule? And also, for term 1, there are not 2 weeks in a row that have the same schedule. So our students will not be experiencing the same events simultaneously on consecutive days for an entire 9-week session. So I'm hopeful that the board will do the right thing and choose a schedule that.
Thank you. Lisa Dormal, followed by April Coleman.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Dormal. I'm a proud parent at Cesar Chavez High School for the last 7 years. And as you all know, we've had some very tragic events the last 3 months. I commend this board for doing their due diligence. I understand protocol, and we are in favor of reinstating Mr. Grant. This is a tragic event, and it's very critical to the success that he has built to stabilize and make the kids feel safe. Please consider reinstating Mr. Grant.
April Coleman, followed by Luke Black.
Good evening, April Coleman, 15-year educator in the district, 17 years overall, speaking as an individual. Very concerned about this Bell schedule. I expressed it at the last meeting. I invite each and every one of you to come and spend a day with me at South Mountain on a Wednesday or a Thursday when I have the 3 104-minute class periods. I'm not asking you to take over and sub. I'm asking you to just spend a day with me. The other item is, I guess we are getting lockdown kits. That's nice. It is appreciated. I hope they don't just show up in our classrooms and we don't know what to do with them or don't have anywhere to store them. So some sort of implementation plan and discussion about them would be appreciated. And oh, by the way, while you're at it, if you really want us to feel safe, how about you give us keys to our buildings? So that if something happens while we're out on campus, we can actually get in the building and protect our students.
Luke Black, followed by Michelle Ruiz.
Good evening, everyone. My condolences to the whole community, but especially to the families and the friends of the students that we lost this summer. Just want to follow up really quickly on a couple of safety-related commitments that this board made that remain important, remain critical for us as we continue to try to make this district a little bit safer. On June 1st, the district passed, or the board members passed 2 things, the Student Bill of Rights and a data collecting process, and I wanted to get an update from the board on where we were at with this. The Student Bill of Rights remains critical for students to understand what their constitutional rights are, especially as we begin to craft specific policies for engaging the police. The students should know what their rights are. And then lastly, data is critical. We cannot measure outcomes if we do not collect data. We cannot improve if we do not collect data.
Michelle Ruiz, followed by Lance Long.
Hi, good evening, board. My name is Michelle Ruiz. I'm here today because I'm disappointed in Phoenix Union budget meeting where $500,000 were passed for off-duty officers. For many years, Phoenix Union been working, finding solutions to make our campus safer. All students and staff should be able to create safety here. But we keep seeing a circle pattern that the district keeps relying on police to do their job. As we know, we're not receiving 6 SROs paid by the safety grant, but the district decided to use the emergency money for off-duty officers. We need to stop relying on them because this is not sustainable for our schools. We need to start creating real solutions that can last for long-term solutions in our schools, because we need to make our schools sustainable and use our funds that can be invested in our schools and districts and students. We're worth being invested.
Thank you. Lance Long, followed by Melina Ariano.
My name is Lance Long, a teacher in the district. At the June 1st board meeting, you defied the will of the majority of the residents of Phoenix with regard to SROs. Very well, you voted and it's done. With your decision, you have told every crazy person in Phoenix and beyond it's safe to attack our campuses. Should this happen, what are you going to say to the 90% of parents who wanted SROs? What will you say to the parents of those children who die? What will you say to the families of the staff members and teachers who die? What will you say? Let's call more social workers? And then will come the multi-million-dollar lawsuits against the district, the board, and against individual board members. You thought you knew better than the 1.6 million people of Phoenix, the families and staff members and teachers and the board-appointed safety committee, the executive board. How many millions will it cost beyond the bloodshed? I didn't want to have to say this, but I've satisfied my conscience. I hope it never.
Melina Ariano, followed by Carla Rangel.
Good evening. My name is Melina Arellano, and I'm here today for the same reason we've been coming for the past 5 years, our student safety. We know that there are no SROs coming and that $500,000 are going to be used for off-duty officers because this district keeps thinking that having SROs on campus means safety for our students. First off, we were blindsided by the amount during the budget meeting. Second off, off-duty officers are not on campus to actually protect students. They are there to pick up extra hours and have a bigger paycheck. They are not there for the safety of students. We need to invest that $500,000 that is being used for off-duty officers to student resources that will support them as well as our teachers. This is our opportunity to begin to create an environment of safety and wellness without policing. This is our opportunity to create a long-term solution of student safety with no SROs and no.
Carla Rangel, followed by Litzy Isel Riviera.
Good evening, board. My name is Carla Lajer, and I attend Trevor Brown High School. I'm here because I'm concerned about the revised board policy requiring students to question searches and arrests. Your first issue is that as a result of these changes, the police can now advise staff to not contact parents because in doing so could jeopardize their investigation. So I ask of you, how is it okay for parents to not be informed about their child's concerns? When did it become acceptable? Within doing so can send off the wrong message and rising mistrust and suspicion in the community. Before notifying police at all, we should first talk with the students and find out the reasoning for behavior and alternative solutions. Your second issue again is interviews being conducted by DCS. Parents yet again are not being notified because it's not required. What happened to honoring the safety plan? You are still criminalizing the community by having.
Litzy Isela Rivera, followed by Audi Dame.
Hello. My name is Litzy, and I'm a senior at Trevor Brown. I'm here today because I'm concerned about a new policy about the school district that is being made around the parking and searches. For myself and my undocumented peers who have to drive to school because we had to rely on to make it on time to school, and to support our family by providing transportation to our siblings. Some students are afraid to park inside of the school because we will get in trouble, but we will end up getting in trouble by parking outside of school. School is responsible for making it easy for us to get in school, but by requiring to register with a driver's permit, it's making it more difficult for us students who are undocumented. The school should find a solution to make transportation more safe for all students from and to school. Thank you.
Adi Dame, followed by Jaden Huerta.
Hi, my name is Adi, and I'm extremely concerned about the interrogations and searches. The Phoenix police are dangerous, and it has been proven multiple times, and with these changes, you're just giving them and staff easier access to harm and criminalize these students. You aren't thinking about the kids, you're thinking about yourselves. Since coming to these meetings, I've heard stories from others in the community telling you about their experiences and their families' experiences with being criminalized and brutalized by the police. When they come up to speak, does it just go in one ear and out the other? When students come up to speak, do you block out what they're saying? I'd like to reconsider the interrogations and searches. It will do more harm than you think. Thank you.
Jaden Huerta, followed by Jamie Loriano.
Good evening, Governing Board. My name is Jaden Huerta. I am truly disappointed with how the board has handled safety. Instead of listening to community members, you have been trying to push harm further into our homes. The board is voting to revise the student interrogations and searches and arrests document. The changes included are riddled with unnecessary and harmful measures that risk your students' safety. You say you want a community where parents are involved in a student's education, yet you push them out in situations where it matters most. As the document entails the change of it not being required to notify families in case investigations, as it may jeopardize the investigation. How is that not jeopardizing the student's safety? Do better. Do not vote for the revisions today, and take time to further research the effects that they will have on students.
Jamie Loriano, followed by Chalet Flores.
Hello, Governing Board members. My name is Jamie, and I'm a high school student, the young people you are all working for. Although based in Glendale, my work centers in Phoenix. This year, I was selected as one of 2 outstanding Phoenix young leaders. I want to start off by sharing some notes of students who attend the Phoenix Union High School District. Quote, when walking into school, I no longer feel safe or affirmed. And, quote, I just wish adults would do something about the problems we young people face. Now, you may be asking yourself, why? What's the problem or problems? We know that an increase in the amount of law enforcement on campus is a direct connection to the school-to-prison pipeline. Arizona also consistently ranks high in having the highest ratio to students to school counselors across the U.S. As of right now, there is no conclusive evidence that police presence on campus is doing anything for our young people. I kindly ask those who voted for the funding of law enforcement to reconsider the implementation of a $500,000 budget. Governing board members, when we unite our voices, we speak much louder. Thank you.
Chalet Flores, followed by Jorge Madrid.
First, I want to express condolences to the PXU community and the families impacted by the loss of life. Chris Hampton. All children deserve safety, and his family deserves answers. So, SROs are unavailable. With all those resources, time, effort, and hundreds of thousands of dollars set aside for law enforcement, this is an essential time to be creative in creating safety without relying on the police that aren't there. Specifically revisiting the commitments made in June and to revisit recommendations that are still on the table. The City of Phoenix rejected nearly all of the components of this for the Safety Committee asked for. So I urge y'all to honor those safety recommendations and all the policies that you pass. You set the policies. That's a critical and powerful duty you hold. Students should be aware of all of their rights before police take any liberties with interrogations, searches, or arrests. Perfect place to start is the Student Bill of Rights. Thank you.
Jorge Madrid, followed by Gwendolyn Lee.
Madam President, members of the board, District Administration, my name is Jorge Madrid. I am here to request to respectfully be added to the executive agenda so I can address some concerns regarding the hiring practice of this district. Please, I'm asking you, any board member can request to add my name to the agenda for next board meeting. Thank you.
Gwendolyn Lee, followed by Stephanie Espinosa.
Good evening. My name is Gwendolyn Lee, and I would once again like to bring your attention to a document. At a previous board meeting, Clerk Napa requested copies of it for each of you, and I hope those have been received. The report's title is Perspectives, Reflections, and Lived Experiences shared by PXU students, parents, and staff that identify in the Black, African American, and African diaspora. Parent response and communication themes centered around safety, representation, and education. Item 8 on page 20 reads, Black parents and guardians expressed a deep and abiding desire to connect with other Black parents and guardians, both at the campus and district levels. As one step in that direction, Black Alliance is excited to begin working with the Student and Family Services Division to expand WeGrad to include the African American experience. A national family education and engagement program, WeGrad will provide space for Black parents to engage in authentic conversations and learning around post-secondary opportunities.
Thank you, Ms. Gwendolyn. Stephanie Espinosa.
Good evening, board members. My name is Stephanie, and I'm here with the School to Liberation campaign, and I'm here today speaking because the original IGA that included suggestions made by the Student Safety Committee and approved by this board is not the same one that the City of Phoenix has now approved. This new IGA is unacceptable because it does not ensure student safety and protections. The committee and community was very loud and clear that they didn't want Phoenix police officers to be a part of discipline. We even heard from Phoenix police officers that they didn't want to be part of discipline, yet this new IGA allows that. Amongst the protections that were removed from the IGA also include assurance that arrests will be discreet, chokeholds and hand strikes are now allowed, officers on the Brady list will be interacting with our students, access to disciplinary records are out, and all the language around interacting with developmentally challenged youth was removed, special needs trainings are gone, and prior experience working with youth is gone, as well as bilingual and multilingual officer requirements and suggestions. We must ensure that any...
Thank you, Ms. Stephanie.
Ms. Andrade, will you look into the bell schedule and the Black American experience topics that were brought up at the podium, please? Thank you. The next item is 4A, approval of consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? A motion has been made by Member Marquez and seconded by Member Oliver. On the motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next item is 5A, Superintendent's Report. Ms. Andrade, please provide your report for us.
Well, good evening, President Ross, members of the board and community. I'm going to take a moment just to review some of the events of our summer. I'm going to kick off with summer school. We had many choices for students to attend this year. For high school, over 6,485 students took advantage of those choices. They could come for 11-day sessions, 19-day sessions, in the morning, or for the sleepers in the afternoon. They could do it digital on their couch, or they could do it in person. And again, quite a few students took advantage of that, and our success rate was about 88% credits earned. And 115 students ended up graduating as a result of that summer school session. You can see the types of classes. Again, the cores were probably the most popular: English, math, social studies, and science. Moving along, that leads me to July 10th, our summer school graduation. And if you've never been to a summer school graduation, everybody should go at least once. The energy in the Carl Hayden Auditorium rivals that of the Coliseum any day. Those parents are about as rowdy and noisy as 10 of each of them. So it was quite an event, a lot of great energy, and a lot of great students coming together from across the district to receive their diploma. Throughout the summer, we had freshman orientations happening at various campuses. Ninth graders had an opportunity to come in and spend some time together, getting to know their peers, staff, and school. There's still 3 more schools in the docket this week to go, but we're off to a great start. They, again, can pick up their laptops, get their schedules, do some team building, download apps on their phone, and really get over that anxiety of that first day. Incidentally, also on the first day, the first 2 hours are dedicated to freshmen only, so it's not so scary to come to school on the first day, although it's probably still a little scary. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the leaders and the freshman house coordinators for making these days happen. Also in July, we came together for 3 packed days for our Administrators Academy over at Desert Willow to learn and collaborate together. One day was dedicated to teaching and learning and student and family services. We spent another day dedicating to talent and legal. And then the last day, we really wrapped our arms around safety. So huge shout out to the leadership division for helping coordinate, but really the entire executive team that made that academy a success. On to our next training of the summer, safety teams from across the district gathered for 2 days at Trevor Brown for team building, safety protocols, emergency response training, de-escalation, restorative practices, and even some staff wellness and self-care. It was a really huge success. I had the opportunity to welcome them on one of the days. The other 2 days they spent on their campus reviewing campus-specific protocols. But a huge shout out to Mr. Correa and the entire safety team for making those days happen. Certified induction, we got a chance to welcome our new teachers to the district on July 25th at Betty Fairfax High School. The morning was spent really with some introductions and grounding with these new teachers as to who we are as a district with our curriculum in the afternoon. They had support and exposure to the essential standards, as well as support from our exceptional services division, and really wrapping ourselves around those new teachers so that they feel supported. Thanks to Tony Camp and the work of teaching and learning, Dr. Wagner, our ed mentors and our content specialists and our ESS department for ensuring every teacher felt welcomed, supported, and had a great experience. Thank you. As you heard from Ms. Jimenez earlier, our CLI was another amazing day, well spent investing in our ESPs, grounding again in the district from everything from the vision to the strategic plan, and really digging in on some professional development and growth opportunities, and really providing that much needed job family support. And I will, I know I stand on behalf of a lot of people when I say we will expand access to all next year. Moving along to the convocation, before I forget, again, a lot of shout outs today, but this summer was a heavy lift. Richard Franco and the marketing team, this day would not be possible without you and the endless hours of work your team put in. And I also want to give it up to the principals in the back who that day wouldn't have been possible without your energy. We all gathered on August 1st in GCU's arena, and it was incredible energy and a great way to kick off the school year, to honor our students that made history, to honor our staff that made history, and to really continue to motivate all of us to continue to impact lives and make history. I just found out today that board member Para joins the ranking with making history as well, with being named Phoenix Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Award today. Congratulations, board member Para. I want to take just a few minutes here for you to meet our amazing students of the year. We both have Juan and Annalie. They are both away at college right now, as they should be, but they have recorded a message, and I thought it would be important for you all to hear.
Hi, my name is Juan Irigoyen Castillo. I just graduated from Trevor Brown, and I'm proud to be one of Phoenix Union's Student of the Year. I just had like one goal, and it was to be the best at whatever it is that I did. And so I spent like my 4 years doing just that, working hard, determined, being optimistic, because it gets hard. But all with the backbone of my family, because my family, they've always been there for me. They've taught me to be the person I am, to be humble, to work as hard as I work. The Trevor community and the Phoenix Union community, they have always been such a blessing. They've opened so many doors for me. So fortunate enough of receiving over $2 million in scholarships. I'll be attending Stanford University. And with that being said, I'm currently undecided what I want to study. My first 2 years at Stanford would definitely be just exploring, seeing what I can find, what truly interests me. Because there's so many things out there. I just want to explore what best suits me. While at Trevor Brown, my favorite things were the community, especially with my teachers. They were always so supportive. Ms. Berg, Mr. Berg, both Bergs, Ms. Nichols, everyone from literally every teacher. I'm a miss, I think, walking around campus. That campus was like my home. It just felt like it. I felt that connection, and then walking around. And if you're one that gets involved and you get to meet new people, you feel like you're saying hi to like your family in the morning. Big ones are Zakayo, Derek, and Mia, my girlfriend, because they've always been there for me. They've always been so supportive, and even when I'm most down, they bring me up. My advice to others would be to, and you'll probably hear this a lot, but it's to get involved, branch out, explore as much as you can, and then learn from everything. It's good to grasp a little bit of everything and use that for your everyday experiences.
Hi, my name is Anali Cota, and I just graduated from Bioscience High School, and I'm proud to be one of Phoenix Union's Student of the Year. You know, I'm a first-gen daughter of immigrants from Mexico, and I always knew that education was important, and they emphasized that with all of my siblings. And I decided to go to bioscience because I knew I wanted to go to a small school. So going to bioscience was one of the greatest decisions I made. I wouldn't be where I am today without the help of the people that I leaned on and asked questions and just had the support from. Ms. Heisel, Ms. Verlano, Ms. Garapi. There's so many people that I can name there that really just impacted my life. And since I went to a small school, I had to go to a big school to play sports. So I want to thank my basketball coaches, Coach Hernandez and Coach Braga, for everything they've done for me the past 4 years. You know, of course, my friends that made the whole process, the journey, bearable. And another big thank you is to the STEP program. They helped me since my sophomore year, learning how I will become a competitive applicant. In the fall of my senior year, I was applying scholarships and colleges, and in total, I was awarded $4.6 million, but I am attending Williams College on a full ride, and I'm here actually right now, but I'm hoping to figure out what I want to do. But as of now, I'm really interested in becoming a lawyer. A part of me really wants to go into education. Maybe that'll be teaching, but I'm here working hard and I'm gonna do something big. If I had to go back, I would say just ask the question, girl. Just go for it, because you're helping other people by helping yourself understand more. If you're stuck on anything, just ask for help and don't be shy. Just go for it.
Okay, at Convocation, we also had our school awards. I'm just going to highlight a few of them because they were pretty extra special. Culture and Climate Award for large schools was given to the academies at South Mountain. They made significant strides in increasing student interventions, increasing the number of restorative conversations, intentional with their safety teams. They had high admin visibility. They celebrated their students with assemblies for all kinds of reasons. They elevated student voice. They would have monthly staff breakfasts, and so a well-deserved Culture and Climate Award for the academies at South. Coming to you from the small schools was the Phoenix Digital Academy, again being commended for their culture and climate with student check-ins and contacts, and really having that individualized learning that meets the needs of each student and all staff knowing their students. Also, connectedness was an award given, and you'll see that up there for the Code Academy. Nearly 100% of Code Academy students are connected to their school communities, which is very impressive. This school also beat the odds and earned a spot at the National Robotics Competition in California last year. Students also participate in chess, esports, and as well as multiple other sports teams at the Code Academy. Our Freshman Success Award was also given to the academies at South Mountain. They improved their on-track ninth grade rates, very impressive. The year before, they had about 72% of their freshmen on track. Last year, at that same time, 87% of their freshmen were on track. So really effective. One of their strategies was where they kind of coined the slogan, secure the bag, and the bag is behavior, academics, and grades. And so I guess if you walk on academies at South, you know what secure the bag means. They were able to also, no coincidence, to decrease freshman level discipline by 7%. So hats off to the academies at South Mountain. Moving on to the Achievement Award for large schools, it was given to Camelback High School. Camelback High School increased 7% on the ACT English benchmark. They had 8% growth on their FAFSA. And this I thought was really impressive. 58% of their recent grads had an experience with a dual enrollment class. So they continue to climb with dual enrollment and college-bearing courses. At this campus, 92% of their seniors graduate ABOR ready, which is that Arizona Board of Regents entrance exam requirements. They have lowered their dropout rate, and they're the lowest of all of our comprehensive campuses. So great job, Camelback. And we believe preliminary graduation rates have about an 8% increase for Camelback. So again, well-earned achievement award and to the work at Camelback High School. For our small schools, last but not least, we've got the Achievement Award going to Franklin Fire and Police. 18% more juniors meeting the benchmark in English on ACT. More dual enrollment credits obtained by students at Franklin than any other school in the district. In fact, quite a few students who graduate are anywhere from 1 to 3 credits shy of an associate's degree. 100% of Franklin graduates all meet the 16 ABOR college entrance requirements. And they continue to keep their graduation rate right at 100% each year. Well done, Franklin. Moving on to more important awards here, the Spirit Stick. This is a thing, it's fierce, it's rivaled, and it's no joke. And if you have not attended a convocation and seen this Spirit Stick go down, you are missing out. Again, I'm going to give it up to our principals who were instrumental in making it so much fun this year and so much energy. They each had 15 seconds, some took a little more, to come up and hype their school up however they wanted to, whether it was through a song, whether it was orchestrated, or whether it was just through screaming like the WWF. It was incredible, and the energy in the room just lifted. But at the end of the day, after much debate and argument, and depending on where you were sitting, quite frankly, you might have had different opinions about who was the loudest in the room. Like true educators, I'm sure next year we'll have a comprehensive rubric to measure all the points for who won, because I was called out a few times on exactly what was the criteria. So again, though, I want to give it up to the large school, Cesar Chavez High School, and our small school, Phoenix Digital, for an 80s rendition of Let's Get Physical. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Employees of the Year that were also celebrated at Convocation. We will be formally celebrating them in person at our September board meeting during celebrations, but any chance I get to highlight them, I want to take that. You got Nini, Yvette, Cindy, and Kevin all being recognized as Employees of the Year for the entire district. So anybody sees them, give them a shout out, give them a pat, give them a shake. They're amazing. All right, as we move closer and closer to that first day of school, we are excited to kick off an attendance campaign associated with high expectations for the launch of school as we strive for less than 5 campaign across our campuses. It's so important that our kids come to school. When they come to school, they can learn. We can't get them there if they're not getting there. And those that are truly having obstacles or barriers, we can get to those and really help them intervene. But if they're all coming late, we can't help them all. So we're going to really tighten up on our attendance, and this campaign is set to do just that. Again, first day of school, right around the corner on Monday. I'm excited. We are rapidly approaching nearly 27,000 students that will be coming through our gates. Not all at once, of course, the freshmen only. And then at 10:30, we'll see our sophomores through seniors. And that concludes my governing board report. Thank you, President Ross, members of the community.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 10B, approval of recommendation to expel student 202223-13. Lynn, looks like you have something for me.
I just wanted to, for Board Member Hernandez, because she did not participate in the
Parra as
executive
well?
session. I believe Board Member Parra was on.
Okay.
So Board Member Hernandez will not be able to vote during this agenda item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation to expel the student identified as 202223-13? Is there a second? A motion's been made by Member Austin, seconded by Member Oliver. On the motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries. The next item is 10C, discussion of governing board policy exhibit BEDH-E, public participation at board meetings, request to address the board. Ms. Andrade.
Thank you, President Ross. Back in the spring, I'll leave it there, it might have been June, or at the end of the year, Board Member Napa had asked if we could bring this item back in an effort to really prioritize our PXU students during the call to the public. Our team has had a chance to take a look at the exhibit and adjust it in an effort to meet those needs and identify and prioritize our own students so that they can get home and get a good night's sleep for school the next day. Again, just wanted to take this time to revisit, share our changes, and if the board is ready, the team is ready to implement in September. But again, just wanted to bring it to your attention. There's a portion on the blue card now that asks if you are a current PXU student. It's a simple yes or no. If yes, we ask that they give their ID if they have it, or their school that they're attending, and this alone will prioritize them to the front of call to the public's lengthy line. I'm going to turn it back over to you, President Ross, for any discussion or questions.
Members, is there any discussion? Sounds good. The next item is 10D, approval of the revised governing board policies on first reading. IGA, curriculum development. IGD, curriculum adoption. IJJ, textbook supplementary materials, selection and adoption. Is there a motion to approve the revised governing board policies on the first reading? Is there a second? Okay, so then we don't. Okay, I second. On the motion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I was trying to count the ayes in my head, sorry, that sounds like a majority. All those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next item is 10E, possible adoption of revised governing board policy, JIH, student interrogations, searches, and arrests by waiving second reading. Is there a motion to adopt the revised governing board policy by waiving the second reading? Is there a second? I second. A motion? Okay. A motion has been made by Member Austin and seconded by Member Para. Is there any discussion? Member Napa, Clerk Napa.
Thank you, President Ross. In reading policy JIH, I just have some clarifying questions. The first of which is, this policy pertains to a lot of interviews, police investigations, and searches. How is the district working to make sure students understand their rights, including knowing that they can decline to be interviewed by law enforcement at any time, knowing they can refuse searches by a school official, but also knowing that their lockers, school computers, and person can also be searched at any time while at school at any function if there's a suspicion that they are breaking the law or may have items that are putting students in danger. One of my main concerns about this is capacity. Number one, it's been mentioned in previous board meetings that we as a district, as schools, we have the responsibility to function in absence of the parents. So how are we making sure that we're helping students and also protecting their rights? And my concern mainly is staff capacity. Do we have the capacity to train our staff to help our students understand and know their rights? And if we don't have that capacity, what are we to do to make sure that our staff gets that training, or at least students know their rights?
Thank you, President Ross, Board Member Napa. I think that's going to be a tiered approach because it is going to be a heavy lift for sure to get 27,000 plus to all understand. I think it starts with the adoption of the policy. From there, we will execute immediately to the August 10th principal meeting, where that ripples also to our assistant principals, where we continue to visit and revisit this policy so they have an opportunity to ask questions and truly understand what that language means in operations. They also understand that they can reach out to the district with any questions or concerns that they may have in the middle of an incident, and we will guide them appropriately. But then that second layer is understanding that the students know their own rights, and that will take a little bit more of a concerted effort. I believe we can use advisory periods to put out messages and information, but more importantly, we have committed to a student bill of rights, which I think if that committee is done correctly, they can serve as a conduit to other students and really kind of share that information out to across campuses. They obviously, if they want to be on the committee, they're committed to that cause, but I think it's going to take social media, it's going to take sessions after school, it's going to take nonstop effort to ensure that our students understand their rights and they just don't succumb to whatever the adult is saying. They understand their own rights. Thank you.
Furthermore, paragraph 2, the provision or this policy, I'm concerned about it not going far enough to protect students, and it's not in alignment with the safety committee recommendations. So looking at paragraph 2, the safety committee recommendations noted that officers should not be allowed to interview students for non-school related incidents during school time, and then concerned about the paragraph and having it to read, officers may not enter the campus to interview students for incidents unrelated to school matters except in the cases of abuse or abandonment. In these cases, the principal or their designee shall be notified. So if we're looking at paragraph 2, right now, the red line copy that that I have access to says, if a police officer enters the campus requesting to interview a student attending the school on an issue other than for abuse or abandonment, the principal or their designee shall be notified.
I'm going to go ahead and defer to legal on that.
So just to clarify, you want us to change that paragraph to read how you just read it?
Yes.
That is fine if we want to accept that. Yeah.
And then looking at paragraph 3, I saw this in the electronic red line version that we have, but it's not in the paper copy that we were provided at the retreat. Specifically looking at paragraph 3, removing the sentence related to criminal activity of the parent guardian. This specifically removes the specific condition that must be met if they are allowed to dismiss notifying parents. Police, I'm concerned that police will say contacting the parents will always jeopardize the case, and removing the sentence, or that sentence expands police license and discretion. I feel like it needs to be put back in.
So we can certainly do that. Now, the intention behind that sentence is specifically that those circumstances where we don't notify the parent is related to any danger that the parent may be causing and that the investigation that the investigators are investigating and interviewing the student for.
Okay.
So the intention is that if the law enforcement officer is, or DCS for that matter, is interviewing the student as a result of allegations of abuse occurring in the home, then in those instances, we would not be contacting the parent for obvious reasons.
Okay. Paragraphs 4 and 5. Yeah. Paragraphs 4 and 5, this specifically goes towards our students with disabilities or special education needs. I feel the district should assure that an advocate is always present for any students with disabilities or special education needs. Can we mandate that a social worker or other trained staff member be present during the investigation of a student with disabilities or parent or special education needs?
That is not always possible. Depending on the type of investigation that is occurring, we may not be allowed into the investigation room when they're interviewing the student. It is always our practice, I will tell you, that regardless of whether the student is special education or not, if we don't have a parent present, that one of our administrators is present when the student is being interviewed to the extent that we are permitted in the room.
So it is policy to have someone with the student when they have special needs?
It is our practice.
Our practice, thank you.
Yes.
And then the last paragraph, what responsibility is the district taking to track the student that has been arrested? Can the district assign a social worker to track the student and make sure they are in connection with their parents or guardians after the arrest?
That type of connection would have to happen directly from the school to the parent because juvenile records are sealed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would not have any information unless they were charged with a felony. We don't have any information on those types of arrests for students, for minors. So we would have to work through the parent to get that information. And my understanding is often we do that. It's part of our support services for our families.
What about students who do not have a parent or are part of the foster care system?
In those instances, I think, let me not answer that question. They do have guardians, and so, yeah, we would work with them.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question, and I don't want to put anyone on the spot. Are we able to add the student Bill of Rights to the student handbook? To me, that's the most logical place for it to go.
President Ross.
And I don't know if you're the right person to answer it or if someone else
Members
is.
of the board, I do believe once the Student Bill of Rights is developed and displayed in its final draft, it would be amended right into the electronic version of the student handbook, as well as distributed and shared, and yes.
Perfect,
it would
thank
have
you.
to be.
Okay, so the motion on the table has, Member Austin, do you still motion to approve it with Member Clerk Nappa's modifications? And Member Para, do you also still second with Member Para's revisions?
With Clerk Napa's revisions?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. So a motion's been made by yes, Mr. Marquez.
Sorry to hold
That's
things
okay,
up.
you're fine.
I wonder, I know the intention of this policy update was to provide protections for our students during these processes that came directly from the School Safety Committee. But I wonder if we might pass this on first reading, and that would give a little bit more time to see the proposed changes in writing, and also give members of the community to opportunity to just recommend additional protections for students as part of this policy. That would be my recommendation.
So the question now is whether or not Board Member Alston will withdraw her motion. If not, we need to have a vote on the motion that's been seconded on the floor, and if it fails, then we can have a motion from Member Marquez.
Do you want to withdraw your motion?
Yes, I'm willing to do that.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Mr. Marquez, it sounds like you have a motion.
We also have to see if the second will be withdrawn. If not, then we can also see if there's someone else to move, but
Okay.
just make
Member
sure.
Para, do you also remove your second?
Madam Chair, if members don't turn on their microphones, I can't hear them. So just a reminder, if you guys could please turn your microphones on. I did not hear what was just said.
So, Board Member Para, Member Alston withdrew her motion. You seconded it. So before we move forward.
Okay, I will withdraw. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Marquez.
Yes, Madam
You have
President.
the floor.
I would make a motion to pass the proposed changes on first reading, and I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Marquez has made a motion. Is there a second? A motion has been made by Member Marquez, seconded by Member Oliver. On the motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, please indicate by saying nay. Motion carries. Yes, what did I forget?
Can I ask for Board Member Para? I did not hear your vote. I don't know if you're abstaining, but I didn't hear your vote. And
Aye.
Thank you. And the same for Board Member Hernandez, to the extent that she's still on. We'll put her down as an abstention, but thank you.
Thank you. The next item is for information only. No action is required. Item 10F, receipt of revised governing board exhibits and regulations, JIH. Yes, ma'am.
These go with the policy that you were just,
So I don't have to
looking
do it?
at, so you
Skip
can
it?
just pass on these.
Thank you, ma'am.
For right now, and they'll come back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. This item is, next item is 11A, next meeting. Oh, wow, really? What?
Making history.
The next regular meeting of the governing board is scheduled for Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Item 11B, request for future agenda items. Members. Clerk Napa.
Yes, I have some clarifying questions following up on June, specifically the confidential complaint process, student bill of rights, understanding threats, our data collection, mandatory notifications and reporting, and the expulsion pilot. I just want to lift those up, and may I email those to the superintendent and the president?
Yes.
My questions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Members, any other future agenda? Mr. Marquez.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to request that we start a discussion, ideally at the next board meeting, start a conversation about timeline for the permanent superintendent search.
Mm-hmm. Members, any other? Yes, Clerk Napa.
Reflecting on our board retreat, we specifically talked about student learning outcomes and creating goals based upon improving student learning outcomes. When are we going to come together as a board to actually define those and work on those? We're at the beginning of an academic school year. Time is ticking. I'm concerned about that. The other thing I wanted to lift up too was can we be sent, the board be sent the current bell schedule, so that way if we have the capacity, we can go to South Mountain High School on the invitation of April Coleman or other high schools that would have us experience what our students and our faculty are going through, and our staff.
Members, any other future agenda items? Sounds good. Item 11C, motion to adjourn. Having concluded our business, I have to read the script, Aaron. Having concluded our business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
A motion's been made by Clerk Napa and seconded by Member Marquez. On that motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. We are adjourned.